I think we can go ahead and get started. The most important person, Sarah Freilich, who is the president of the Colorado Gerontological Society's board, has joined us. So, Sarah, if you want to go ahead and start us out, that would be great.
All right, sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. So sorry to be late, and welcome everyone, and I'll officially call the meeting to order. Sorry, I am going back and forth between my screens here, Eileen.
Okay. So if you want to call for the secretary's report.
Yep, I just found it. So
Okay.
I think I saw Shauna. Yep, the secretary report is up next. Shauna, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
I am speaking and I am on mute, but I am talking out to myself because I do want to, let's see. Eileen presented Secretary's Report 2021 annual meeting, December the 10th. It was Julia Kraft made a motion and Carol Regenbach seconded the motion to approve the minutes as approved. So the motion did pass as minutes read. So that's the secretary report.
And would you like me to make a motion, Shauna, to approve?
Yes, I make a motion to approve.
All right. I will second it.
Thank you.
Any questions, objections? Without objection, we will pass the secretary's report.
Okay, and that is me. So here we go. We're gonna stay here. We're gonna stay here, and we have a total of 1 million. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to read there. As you can see, I'll put that in the report and the chat so everybody can see the amount that was reported. In the income was also reported, expenses resulting in a negative income. I'm gonna, oh, here we go. There we go. I'm not controlling the slides, but so here's the visual for you guys to see. The major expenses include salaries and grants for the vision, hearing, and dental services. The balance sheet currently shows a total assets of $531,772 and liabilities of the exact same amount. Sarah did make a motion to accept the report as presented, and Mary Cisneros seconded that motion. As we are going over the profit and loss statement here on your screen, can we make a motion to approve what you are seeing? Chris, you're on mute. I see your mouth moving. I don't know if you were approving. No, okay. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that, Shauna. This is Sarah.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. Let me write that down. And then now we're going to go ahead and move forward with the meeting. We can advance the slide.
It looks like Carol Rickenbaugh was going to give this report, and she was in the meeting, but she apparently left and is now trying to join again.
Do we want to wait for her, or do we want to continue?
Well, this kind of ends.
Oh,
that
she's back.
section.
She says she's back.
Okay,
Well, hello,
good.
Carol.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can.
You hear me? Okay, great. Sorry about that. So you have the nominating committee report up.
Yes, we do.
So we've got Shauna, current member, and Warner Pacific, 3-year terms on board of directors to expire 2026. And then a 2-year terms for executive committee to expire 2026 is Sarah, our current president and executive director of the Chronic Care Collaborative. And then Carol Rickenbach, current vice president and executive director of the Bridget Alamosa and owner Rain Home Care. Shauna Brodas, current secretary treasurer of Warner Pacific.
Do you want to make a motion, Carol, to accept that?
I do. I'm making a motion to accept the nominating committee report.
I'll second it, Carol.
You want to call for the vote, Sarah?
All those in favor? Or how about a without objection? How about that? Any objections? Sorry, Eileen, for the awkwardness of coming off and on mute. I am limited by my phone today, and it's tricky. So thanks
It's
for
not easy, is it?
No, it's not.
I actually tried to do a meeting the other day on my phone and was just very discombobulated. And then one screen also confused me, so.
Yeah, well, okay, I will say without objection, the motion passes, but please, I guess, you know, for Eileen or anyone on this call, please speak up if I'm missing something, because I can, if I'm seeing the people, I can't see the slides, or and I can't see the chat all at the same time. It's kind of a one or the other, and I don't want to move too quickly with a vote, for example, and miss a comment or a question or an objection. So,
Okay.
Sarah, I can watch the chat for you.
oh, thank
This is
you.
Shauna. Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, then the next thing on the agenda is one of the things that we always do each year at our annual meeting is we try to identify people who have been particularly active either in the community or people who have been active with the Colorado Gerontological Society. And so we have a number of awards that we give out. So that is the next piece, if you will, of our meeting today. And I will go ahead and identify those individuals who are receiving the different awards, if you will. And I will say a few words about them. And then you as the individual who is being given the award have the opportunity, if you would like to also make you know, like a few comments, 30 seconds to a minute. I don't have a lot of time in this today to have everybody share a very long statement. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And our first award this year goes to Terry Romero. Terry works in the Medicare Advantage program at Kaiser Permanente. And Terry has a long history with Medicare Advantage, starting that program with Kaiser Permanente way back in the early 90s. And my story with Terry is that when we first started the Salute to Seniors, we hired a consultant who said, one of the things we should consider doing is selling exhibit booths at the Salute to Seniors. And Terry was my first sale. She's always had a really special place in my heart. She's also been a real leader at Kaiser in really trying to create benefits and make sure that individuals who are using the Kaiser Medicare Advantage product are getting the best services possible. And so with that, I would like to present our Distinguished Pioneer in Aging Award. That is given to somebody who has spent more than 30 years in the field of aging. So Terry, would you like to share any comments?
Well, I'll thank you, and I'll say it's amazing you can get an award in a field where you start when you're 5. So I do appreciate it. So definitely, thank you for that. And it's just been a joy and a passion, I know, to be around folks who share just working with seniors. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate the great work that CGS does. And I'm sorry that I have to leave soon, but I actually ended up with RSV and on oxygen over the weekend. So thank you so much for this award, and thank you for the great work that you're doing.
Well,
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
I hope you get well soon. And Terry has also provided, speaking of RSV, sanitizer for the holiday basket. So yes, everybody use if you're getting a holiday basket or you're delivering, use the sanitizer that Terry provided.
Absolutely. Oxygen is no fun, and neither is the hospital. So.
Okay, thank you, Terry. Our next award goes to Kayla Rivera, and Be Well Assisted Living is a house in Colorado Springs that has this very, very lovely view. And they have been acquired by a group out of Utah that is very, very committed to working with the behavioral health population, specifically with older adults who have aged into assisted living. Kayla has been the manager of this building for 3 or 4 years now. And one of the things that we like to do in this award giving is to recognize young professionals, individuals who have been in the field, and hopefully they will stay in that field working with older adults. As Terry said, she got in when she was 5, but we appreciate the fact that she has spent many, many years with us. Is Kayla on the call? I don't remember seeing you. Does not look like she's on the call. Oh, yes, she is. Kayla, would you like to share anything? Kayla, you are on mute if you are trying to share any comments. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. I don't know if she's having difficulty or not. So our next award is a Leadership in Aging Award. And the Eugene Dawson Awards are basically given to individuals who continue to work in the field of aging and make outstanding contributions. So this award goes to Sandra Connor, and she's the administrator of the Aladdin in Keansburg, a small community north and east of Denver. The Aladdin has had particular challenges over the last couple of years as they have taken on some very challenging local residents to provide services for their community. And Sandra has worked tirelessly to meet the new regulations of the state of Colorado. The assisted living regulations seem to be in constant flux, if you will. And so they are, she has done an outstanding job bringing that particular facility into compliance. And let me see if Sandra is on the call. It does not look like she is on the call. Our next series of awards go to our Al Berger Community Service Awards. And these awards basically go to individuals who either have done a lot of work with the Colorado Gerontological Society or with the community or a combination thereof. So this year we are recognizing 4 individuals in this category. Our first individual is Jennifer Brown. Jennifer was a social worker way back in the day when St. Anthony's Hospital was St. Anthony in their geriatric department, which is how I initially learned to know her. She has been a steadfast supporter, if you will, of our holiday basket project. I don't know how many baskets she's delivered over the years, but I'm going to guess it's somewhere between 75 and 100. So thank you, Jennifer, for your continued support with the Holiday Basket Project. And I did see you on the call. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, well, what I'd like to say is it's been my pleasure. It's been a lot of fun every year to do this. And I'm really glad that the Gerontological Society provides this opportunity. I do it with my friend Susan Franklin, who's also in the business, and we've gotten our husbands involved, and it's the first thing.
We lost you, Jennifer.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, just a big thank you to you, Eileen, for making this possible to deliver the baskets.
Great. Well, I will see you next week.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Our next community service award goes to Warren Colbert. Warren came to Denver, or I learned to know Warren, I guess, maybe about 10 years ago. And he has been a big patient advocate. He runs a program called E-Patient Advocate and is always sort of looking for opportunities, if you will, to get that consumer voice out there and to provide resources for them. Additionally, Warren was one of the people who at the beginning of COVID raised his hand when I did my very urgent plea for telephone buddies. So Warren has been a telephone buddy now for going on 4 years, as long as COVID has been going on. And that has been a very valuable service, as most of you know, to many older adults in our community. Warren has also sometimes helped with the Holiday Basket Project as well. So thank you, Warren, for all of your patient advocacy, and thank you for helping with the Gerontological Society's project. Would you like to say a word or two?
It's been a privilege. I'm humbled by the work that you and your staff do. It's been a privilege at every step of the way to be involved, and I look forward to being involved for many, many more years. So just thank you very much for the opportunity and for all of your work and your staff's work.
Thank you. That was very kind. Our next award goes to Ginger Okada. And Ginger cannot be with us today. She sent a short note. Ginger was a neonatal nurse for many, many years. And at the beginning of the pandemic, she was another one of those people. I honestly do not know how she found us. but she immediately signed up to be a telephone buddy, and she has continued to work with her telephone buddy, doing many more things way above and beyond just making the if you will, the weekly phone calls to make sure that her telephone buddy is okay. She sent a note today that says she's been spending a lot of time the last year working with or taking care of her grandbabies, who are like 7 months and a year old or 2 years old, and so said she would not be able to join us today. Additionally, and I am still looking for volunteers for this, we also deliver, in addition to the holiday baskets, we have a small group of people who are not able to cook. So a couple of years ago, we started taking some hot meals to them a day or two before Christmas and Hanukkah. And so if anyone is interested in delivering hot meals a day or two before Christmas, please let me know. Our next Alberger Award goes to Kyra Rawlings. And Kyra has been involved with the Holiday Basket Project for probably as many or more years as Jennifer. Again, I don't know how she really found our organization. She works for a wealth management company, and they provide a lot of tools to help people make investment decisions, as well as what works for them personally. So we are pleased to recognize Kyra for all of her work with the Holiday Basket and that of her family over the years. Kyra, I think I saw you on the call as well.
I am. Thank you, Eileen. In fact, when I got the call, I was like, you know, who needs to get the award is Eileen, not us. So I hope you're getting lots and lots of kudos and rewards for all the efforts that you've done over the years. You know, and certainly I'm also honored to just be recognized, you know, certainly humbling. I started this, oh my gosh, probably almost 3 decades ago as a tool to, you know, really teach my children about, you know, giving back and caring for others. And it's just been a wonderful experience. So, you know, it's just a joy to me and to our family that we can do this. And I would be happy, put me down on the list for taking a hot meal to a few people a couple of days before. I'd be happy to do that.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And this year, the other thing we are doing as part of our Alberger Community Service Award, just because it didn't fit any place else, is the Psi Delta Kappa Beta Sigma Phi sorority has been invaluable to making the Holiday Basket Project work. One of the members is Janet Weipert, and Janet used to work for the Colorado Gerontological Society probably 20 years ago, plus or minus, maybe a little bit longer. And the sorority is basically a social group that gets together to provide community service, education. They have meetings, they have other chapters, both around the state as well as in other communities. And these are the women, if you have ever been involved in the Holiday Basket Project, who come together and they put all the toothpaste and the toothbrushes and the soap in little plastic bags, and they they wrap the gifts and they put them in tote bags, and they do all that background work. So that if you happen to be one of the people who delivers baskets and you're driving through the parking lot out here, it's the Psi Delta Kappa Beta Sigma Phi group that you have to thank for all of their many, many hours of work and dedication and commitment to delivering those baskets. And I don't see Janet on the call today, but thank you, Janet, and we'll see you next week as you come again and spend many, many hours with us working on this project. Our next award is a Lifetime Achievement Award, and it goes to Matt Brady. Some of you, if you are political junkies, might remember that Matt ran for Denver mayor last spring. And so he is one of those individuals who is constantly looking for ways to be involved in his community. We first became acquainted with Matt and all of his good work when we started about 4 years ago, looking at the housing crisis and some of the housing challenges, if you will, in the city and county of Denver, as well as the state. So Matt was involved for about 3 years with our housing advocacy project, culminating, if you will, in 2 events this past year, one being the mayoral forum, which only featured Kelly Brough and Mike Johnston. Matt had left the race at that point in time, but attended that event. And then later, our sort of finale event was the Aging in Place Summit, which took place in August at Inner City Parish, with about 125 people joining us. Matt, as I said, has been very active, and if you look at the many accolades that he has received from community leaders in the city and county of Denver, thank you, Matt, for all of your many, many, many years of community service. Would you like to share a few words? Matt, would you like to share a few words?
This is his niece, Debbie Smigan, and I think he's having trouble with the microphone.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say, I know this work means so much to him, and we're very proud of him. It's well deserved.
And Debbie, what is your relationship?
I am his niece.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Well, thank
Yes.
you for joining us. And I'm sure we will find more opportunities for Matt to be involved in the society over the next few years.
Thank you so much.
You bet. And our next 2 awards is our Corporate Award in Aging. And our first award goes to Active Minds. Some of you may be familiar with this company. Active Minds was started somewhere between 15 and 20 years ago. And their model, if you will, is to provide community education on I want to say current events, but also historical events. So instead of kind of the approach of educational programs, which many of us think about is how to age well, Active Minds really looks at how do we bring community education and how do we keep older adults minds active just from an educational perspective. And so they offer a number of educational programs with a faculty in the community. So Zane Robertson is the kind of lead individual in this group. And because he lives across the street from me, I happen to know that he's in Portugal. So his partner, John Henderson, is with us today. John, would you like to share a few words?
Thanks, Eileen. I appreciate it. First of all, from Zane to you, he sends his very best. He actually just texted me from Portugal, so he'll be back soon. Active Minds, we actually were founded partnership, Zane and myself, 20 years ago.
Okay.
This marks our or we're entering our third decade, and it's never been more important to us, the work that we love to do and that we've been doing now for 2 decades. Accessible education and providing programs on site in the places where people live, so retirement communities, in-person programming, retirement communities from Longmont down to Colorado Springs here in Colorado. And before COVID hit, we actually had a few programs that we did via Zoom. So we were fortunate that we had a little head start on Zoom before the lockdown. And we were able to convert all of our faculty and our programming over to Zoom, such that the folks who were in isolation were able to be reached. And it was very meaningful work before that, but all the more meaningful. So we are very honored, Zane and myself, as well as all of Active Minds, to be honored by CGS and by you, Eileen. So thank you so much for recognition and support of Active Minds, and we hope that the feeling is mutual, and we love what CGS is all about. So thanks so much.
Thank you. We love it when we have the opportunity to ask you guys to participate in our programming.
And always delighted to do so.
Thank you. And the next award, and the last one, not necessarily, but one of the best that we are giving, is to Cigna. And Cigna is a health insurance company, has been in existence for, I don't know really how many years. Cigna offers 3 products, if you will, that are of importance to older adults. They offer a Medicare Advantage plan, they offer Medicare supplements, and they offer Medicare Part D plans. They do that under another name, I believe. Cigna has been very involved, as Kaiser has, for many, many years in the work of the Colorado Gerontological Society. We have partnered on a number of different projects, including the last 3 or 4 Salute to Seniors, in which Cigna has been the presenting sponsor. And we also have done some other partnerships with them, with, again, trying to spread the word, doing educational programs, coming together to try to solve various questions that make the delivery of health insurance better for all older adults. Our dear friend, Grace Bollinger, I thought I saw you jump on the call, Grace, is with us here today to accept this award. Would you like to share a few things, Grace?
Hi, yes, and thank you so much, Eileen. It's always an honor to work with Colorado Gerontological Society. We're thrilled to be a part of it. I think one of the biggest things that the Cigna enjoyed doing with the society was during COVID, when we did the iPad initiative, and we actually got, I think it was like, I don't know, 200 or 300 iPads into the hands of seniors who were basically in total isolation. And we partnered with, I think at that point it might have been Senior Planet, because a lot of them didn't even know how to operate an iPad or a cell phone or anything. So we were able to get them connected to their loved ones, because a lot of the housing communities that they were in at that point were not allowing any visitors to come in. So that was certainly a really exciting initiative that we did. It's always a pleasure to work with Colorado Gerontological Society. That's all I can say. We'll continue to support you in any way that we can. And I would agree with some of the other comments, Eileen, that you have just been a pillar in the Denver metro area and along the I-25 corridor for the work that you've done with the society. So thank you.
Thank you. And you better be careful because Carol will take you on because she comes from Alamosa and she's always telling people that CGS is fighting for you, even if they're in Denver. So I don't know if Carol's still on. Carol was actually calling in from Las Vegas. She was out there at some rodeo or something. So great to have participation along a lot of different fronts. So this brings kind of this portion of our meeting to an end, and we'll go to the next portion. And I know, Sarah, you're having difficulty sort of managing the screen as well as the agenda given your phone only. So I will just launch into the next section of the agenda. But before I do that, I want to just go through and recognize the staff who have joined us on the call as well. So Bernie Schmeitz is the program manager, and she runs our vision, hearing, and dental program. I always tell her, even though she gets very frustrated sometimes, that she's got the best job in the state because she gets to give away somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million worth of hearing aids, eyeglasses, and dental services. She does the dental program in partnership with Phyllis Hirschfeld. The next person that I see on the list here is Chris Sparrows, and Chris has recently joined our office. She is doing the Telephone Buddy program, and about a year ago, with encouragement from the Caring for Denver Foundation, we've added a second piece to that. So the Telephone Buddy program matches community volunteers with older adults and who receive a call once or twice a week or whatever makes sense. And just to make sure that everything is going okay. And then they check back in with our office to let us know if everything is okay. Our mental health counseling program is a short-term counseling program. We have clinicians who are trained in the world in mental health, and they will provide 3 to 5 sessions to older adults who might be experiencing things like situational depression, loneliness, grief for having to move into an assisted living, or that kind of sort of situational stuff. So Chris is spearheading that, and she is fairly new on our staff. Leslie Reeder has just joined us as well. She started out last spring as a volunteer, and as the summer passed and the fall started, she is going to be working in some of our health policy. And so she's going to be doing a couple of things. One is that she is launching and revamping our assisted living training program for administrators, as well as looking at offering the required dementia training, and also becoming as of January 1, she's going to work with the health department. So any of the licensed assisted livings that experience deficiencies and require a nurse consultant, she'll be working with them to make sure that the services that they are providing are within the parameters of the regulations. She's also going to be working with me on some of the legislative stuff, And if we have a few minutes, I will mention some of that later. Pat Cook has been with us for, she told me the other day, 12 years. Pat Cook has been our special projects manager. She's done a variety of things over the years, but probably her strength is complex case management. So these very, very complex cases that you guys send to us about, I can't find resources, I don't know what to do. Most of those land in Pat's lap, and very, very frequently she's able to bring those individuals to some resolution of their problem. Additionally, she has led the way, if you will, over the last couple of years, providing training and technical assistance to assisted livings that also have experienced difficulty and needed support to come into compliance with the regulations. And the last person we have on staff who is with us today is Phyllis Hirschfeld. And Phyllis is our policy analyst, and she helps a lot with filing reports, grant writing, audits, those kinds of things, making sure that we are in compliance and getting good reviews. So those are the staff, if you will, at this point in time. Additionally, as I was scrolling through here, I also realized that I'll just call out the board members who are with us. So Carol Rickenbaugh, Dan Polian is a former board president of Senior Answers and Services, which we merged with a couple of years ago. David Osborne, who joined the board about a year ago, and is with Emergency Management Services down in the Alamosa area. Sarah Freilich, who is the president of the Chronic Care Collaborative. Shauna Brodas, who is with Pacific Warner. And it looks like that's the board members that are with us as well. So with that, I will spend the next few minutes before Senator Hansen joins us, just going over a little bit about the program and work of the society. So sometimes it just makes sense, if you will, to review the vision statement. So our vision is to provide the highest quality information, education and training, counseling and referral, public policy and advocacy for those working with older adults, as well as older adults and their families, regardless of race, color, national origin, sex and gender, gender identity, gender expression, disability, physical or mental, pregnancy, veteran status, political affiliation, age, and religion and creed. Again, I believe as the director of the society that if you are an older adult in our state, it is incumbent upon us as an organization to find ways to advocate for you and to help you have the best quality of life that you can have. Our value statement really focuses a lot on providing leadership. And so being in that role of education, training, consultation, making sure that we are at the beginning of these kinds of discussions to ensure that the best quality of life for older people is available to them in the state of Colorado. We have a great commitment to professionalism, making sure that, again, we provide support and modeling for people who work in the field to help them advance and to provide the best services possible. The society as a nonprofit is very, very much focused on partnerships. We could never do the work that we do without the partnerships of many of you on the call, as well as many, many other partnerships with other groups and organizations. We depend heavily on volunteers, on financial contributions, on joint sponsorships, on joint work together with other organizations in our advocacy work. So it's very important to us. We try to focus on providing person-centered services, again, with a focus of meeting people where they are, rather than to try to assume that we know what they need. So Pat will tell you frequently, and she loves to use this kind of word, about when I can unwind them and get them back to what is really bothering you, then we can solve that problem, and then we can really focus on why did you call. So we really try to focus on that, both in our work as well as much of our training. A people-first culture is also really important to me. It's important that people feel connected, not only to the society, but that they also feel connected to their communities, and that they focus, that those communities are responsive, and that we do what we can to help them feel connected. Racial and intersectional equality is something for about the last 15 years we've really tried to focus a lot on. About 15 years ago, the board specifically decided that we should add to our strategic planning, that we would put both board as well as staff resources into meeting the needs of everyone, regardless of race or creed. And public trust is also extremely important, that we are a trusted voice and that people can trust that information that we provide them is reliable, and that we will help them in their journey. As with everybody, we have to focus on digital technology. So we try to do both a high touch as well as a low touch. So we do a lot of digital work, Zoom and those kinds of things, a lot of virtual outreach, but we're also very committed to doing in-person work. And I'm probably one of the very few that continues to be committed to the fact that we have to do direct mail. So we mail 32,000 copies of our newsletter to people's homes 3 times a year. Additionally, most of our communication with our vision, hearing, and dental programs all is done via the US mail. We focus a lot on the social determinants of health, especially with our vision, hearing, and dental programs, as well as our mental health counseling programs. Again, trying to improve, if you will, people's health and wellness. And trying to provide ways that people can actually achieve that. So we're very, very fortunate to have monies, if you will, to actually help with meeting those needs. We focus a lot on capacity building, and that is, again, trying to help other organizations, as well as the Gerontological Society, to really improve, if you will, the both infrastructure of the state of Colorado and the services that are provided, as well as programs, sustainability, and problem solving. Pat and I are looking forward to having Leslie join us and some of the work around really advocating, if you will, for rules and regulations, for bills that will improve older adults. We were extremely involved, if you will, 2 years ago with the senior income tax credit, which provided people who make less than $25,000 $1,000 income tax credit. And through much of our efforts, a large number of people were able to take advantage of that, because the state did not make it easy for individuals to actually access that benefit. And then we spend a lot of time in advocacy down at the Capitol. And that's always, in my mind, the first step. So the first step is really to identify, if you will, what bills, what statutes either need to be improved or what new ones we need to talk to the community about and talk to legislators about. But the really hard work, if you will, in advocacy comes after the legislators pass that bill. The hard work, it comes in the regulatory process. And many, many times bills that we are involved with will take a year or more of rulemaking in order to make sure that those rules are then put into place and meet the need that we originally got involved with. And then the other piece of this advocacy is the ongoing interaction, if you will, with primarily the state departments. So this includes, for us, the health department, includes the Department of Human Services, includes the Department of Healthcare Policy and Financing. Sometimes it includes the Insurance Commission, and sometimes it includes the Department of Local Affairs or the Department of Revenue. So, for example, one of the things that one of our staff who has taken another position was able to figure out with the Department of Revenue only by reading the rules and going through all of the fine print, that the senior housing income tax credit, which the legislature approved for 2022, if individuals have not applied for that, they can still get that through April 15th of 2026. The caveat is that they have to use the 2022 Colorado income tax form, and they have to file the credit, the CR 104. So I'm hopeful that as time goes on, we'll continue to be able to make that benefit available to older adults. But it's one of those things that, again, only by being very involved at the regulatory level were we able to really identify that benefit would be available long into the future. Much of our work on diversity, equity, inclusion includes focusing on a diverse board of directors. We also have a director of Latino services. That staff position is currently vacant. We will be recruiting for that after the first of the year. We get about 2 calls every day from individuals who Spanish is their first language. So it's really important that we continue to hire someone who has that expertise. Much of our work has also been translated into Spanish on our website, and most of our fact sheets and other flyers that we distribute are also available in English and Spanish. Additionally, we have done a lot of work with the African American community and the Native American community. I'm happy to report that about 45 or 46% of the individuals who receive services through the Vision and Hearing program are from communities of color. And we believe that we reach that marker because we have worked very hard to try to reach out to those communities and those individuals. So I'm going to try to hurry us along here. A lot of what I have said is in the next couple of slides, but Senator Hansen should be joining us at approximately 2 o'clock. So I want to be pretty much ready to have him share his thoughts about the special session and any other initiatives that they might be looking at for 2024. So this is just a list of some of the advocacy projects that we have been involved with over the last year to 2 years. And most of those I've already talked about. The two that I might call out that we have not done or talked about is multi-generational family housing has become really, really important for many of our older adults as they face increased rents. They are not able to continue to live in their own apartments. So we're finding more families living together. One of the things we discovered in some of our research on that is that families, many of the application processes for public benefits are not very multi-generational family friendly. So they ask questions like, what is the household income? And so sometimes we get confused about what we should really add to that. So Senator Hansen is joining right now. So I think I will go ahead and move the slides forward. And Sarah, if you want to go ahead and introduce Senator Hansen, I believe he has joined us.
Yes, hello.
Hi. Sarah, do you want to introduce Senator Hansen, or shall he just go ahead?
I don't mind if time allows.
Go
Senator,
ahead.
how's your schedule looking?
Oh, I'm good for the next 15 minutes.
Okay,
So,
all right.
yeah.
I'll do a quick intro. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Senator, I don't know if Eileen told you, but I am on their board of directors, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be here today. For those of you who are not familiar with Senator Hansen, he started in the House in 2017 and then switched over to the Senate in 2019. He serves on a variety of committees, including chairing the Appropriations Committee, the Finance Committee, the Joint Technology Committee, the Legislative Council Committee, and those may have changed. Those, I don't know. 'Tis the season for new committee assignments. Senator Hansen has a reputation for bringing bipartisan solutions, data-driven solutions, community-driven solutions, bringing diverse coalitions together of experts and community leaders to really find solutions that work for Colorado. Again, he has very strong roots in the community. He represents our executive director, Eileen Doherty, in Senate District 31, and also shares her roots in Kansas. And two other things to note really briefly. Senator Hansen co-founded the Colorado Energy and Water Institute and the Colorado Science and Engineering Policy Fellowship. Most recently, he has had a very full plate with a special session and is really leading a lot of the solutions with our property tax crisis here in Colorado. So that brings us to why we invited you today, Senator, to give us an update, and thanks again for your time.
All right. Yeah, Sarah, thanks for the kind introduction. Eileen, thank you for the invitation. Really pleased to be joining everybody today. I'm actually down in Austin for some national meetings around tax and budget issues. So I'm part of a couple national groups and glad to be able to step out and join you here from Austin for a few minutes. Sarah's absolutely right. We've had a lot going on when it comes to property tax and homestead exemptions and other related issues. As folks are familiar, we did have Prop HH on the ballot, which was not successful, but that included many of the concepts that we continue to grapple with. And we just had the special session to provide some immediate property tax relief. And in that special session, we also created a property tax commission. And I am very pleased to be chairing that. We're going to start our work in about a week. And it's a really great bipartisan group. We're going to come together with kind of a blank sheet of paper or whole blank notebook full of paper and really try to think in a fresh way about what the options are in Colorado for property tax relief. And a big piece of that is going to echo some of the things that we put forward, some of the concepts we put forward in HH, things like senior homestead portability, things like tax credits for seniors who are renting. Those are a couple of important things that will be on the discussion list. One of the things I am very proud to highlight, though, is that we did get a property tax deferral program set up at the state level. Myself and Senator Rankin passed that into law a couple of years ago. So for anybody experiencing difficulty with increases in property tax, you can actually defer those at very low interest rates. And what we're trying to do there is allow people to essentially put off any property tax increases until they sell the home. So they get to enjoy the appreciation for which the property tax was going up as a result. So we've got a lot of flexibility now built into the system, but we still are missing some very important pieces. And top of the list for me is portability for senior homestead exemption. That is a huge problem with the current version, which is in our Constitution. So we can't adjust the current version. We've got to create a separate statutory construct for portability. And that was actually, of course, part of HH, but we're going to be bringing that back for discussion and figure out how we can make that a reality for seniors across the state. So those are some of the big things we're going to be looking at. I suppose the headline is with this moment of high appreciation that we've experienced over the last 2 years, what is the fairest, most equitable way to deliver property tax relief, property tax adjustments, while maintaining the funding that we need for important services. As folks are probably aware, about 70% of property tax across the state goes to support K-12 education. We are 49th in the country for education funding. So we've got kind of these challenges that overlay each other with the property tax debate. But so those are some of the tough issues we're going to be looking at over the coming weeks and figure out next steps going forward. And so really glad to be here today to give you a little bit of a preview of that and some of the ideas that we're looking at, including some modernization or adjustments to the senior homestead exemption, but also very excited to hear anything that might be top of mind for you, and want to make sure we have some time for some discussion and some questions as we head back to the Capitol in just a few short weeks. So Sarah, I wanted to reserve plenty of time for that, and I think I've successfully done that. So let me know if there are any questions from the call today.
So one question in the chat is portability is the 10-year rule, correct? So they're trying to just verify what portability means.
Yeah, so right now, to qualify for the senior homestead exemption, you needed to have lived in that property for 10 years before you turn 65. And you could get then eligibility on the first day you turn 65. If you moved in at age 60, you wouldn't be eligible till you were 70, et cetera. So we've got this fairly restrictive construct to claim this exemption. And I think there's a lot of support for adding flexibility and portability there so that once you qualify, you can move, downsize, change, your housing situation as needed for, whatever's changing in your life. And right now we feel like the restrictions really make it hard for people to adjust their domicile to their particular situation. And so that's one of the reasons we want to make that portable.
Are there any other questions from the group? Okay, well, I have one, and then maybe the rest of you can start thinking. Oh, Michael Dorish.
Dorish, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I really think that tenure thing has really got to go. Thank you so much, and I hope that that's a bipartisan issue and that it'll pass through, or maybe I guess we have to vote maybe, but the whole downsizing thing and all of that, it's just really important, and that was the only reason that I voted for the proposal that failed. What was it? Proposition 8 or what was it? 4?
Yeah, Proposition HH.
HH, right. That's the only reason I voted for it. Otherwise, there wasn't much in there that I was in favor of. But thank you. Please keep up work on that.
Any other questions from the group? Okay, so my question related to the modernization, Senator Hansen, is we have enjoyed the exemption on the first $200,000 of value of the property for a 50% reduction. Are there any discussions or conversation about changing that, since many people now are living in homes that have doubled and tripled in the last few years in value?
Yeah, Eileen, absolutely. We're really, so one thing, every homeowner in this state is going to get $55,000 exemption. So for folks that already have the senior homestead, it's going to go from essentially 100,000 to 155,000. So that'd be a pretty significant expansion of that exemption for seniors who qualify. But yeah, absolutely, we need to look at some adjustments there. And that was one of the things that was contemplated in HH, is how do you pay for those adjustments? And I think, we're going to continue to struggle with that issue because of the restrictions in the Constitution. Because we've got to have a way to balance the books across all the services that then rely on that property tax. So if we do an abatement, we've got to do it in a very careful way. If we do an expanded exemption, we've got to make sure we're not creating a long-term fiscal issue. So those would be some of the tough puzzles that will be on the docket as we come back for this bipartisan commission.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? So I will ask another one. What is the composition of the people on this bipartisan commission, and what is the opportunity for community involvement?
Yeah, really appreciate that. So the composition of the commission it's 17 members total. And a majority of those members are Republicans, which may surprise folks on the call. We have what are nearly super majorities in the Senate and the House as Democrats, but we really wanted to make sure that this was a commission that was not only bipartisan, but actually tilted, as it turns out, toward the Republican side of the aisle. I think we're really looking to have broad buy-in to the long-term solutions that will come forward from this commission. So we designed it purposefully that way. I'm very honored to help chair it and help guide that work. But I think we have a very representative and maybe arguably tilted the other direction from where the state is right now. And so I think we'll hopefully come out of this effort with a lot of consensus across the political spectrum of what the next steps should look like.
So are there any community or public members, or is it all legislators represented, and how does the public get involved?
Yeah, in fact, only 2 of the 17 are legislators, so very small footprint from legislative body. There's a lot of there are a number of county commissioners who are involved from all different parts of the state. We've kind of made sure there's regional diversification there. We've got folks who represent real estate, commercial and residential. We've got folks who are representing education funding, fire chiefs, special districts, et cetera. But these are meetings that will be open to the public. We would very much encourage folks to come and testify. The meetings that we have in January and February will absolutely include sections for public input. And so we're hoping for it to be a very broad set of engagement from across the state, both from, of course, the members who are represented in the 17, but more importantly, from the general public. And so would love to hear from your group on the proposals that we're examining.
Okay. Are there any last questions? If not, I have one more. Okay, so this one is a little bit different topic. This one is the property tax rent heat rebate, or sometimes called the PTC 104. And that's a program that is currently available to people who make about $16,000 a year or less from all sources. And in addition to that, not only is the income capped, but then the amount of the rebate is capped as well, or the refund. So a relatively small group of people are able to take advantage of that PTC 104. Do you think there's any interest on the part of this Property Tax Commission to review or consider that issue?
Yeah, thanks, Eileen. You know, we have done some pretty significant work on heat and electricity assistance programs broadly, which are available to not only seniors but low-income families across the state. And we made some big investments in that. Tens of millions of dollars per year have been added to those programs through Energy Outreach Colorado and other mechanisms. So, you know, I think the main focus of the Property Tax Commission is going to be on some of the big structural issues, and probably not on some of these some of the subsidiary parts of our tax policy. So not to say it's not important or not something that could deserve more attention, but I think the commission will be more focused on long-term property tax structure than individual abatements.
Okay, I see it's exactly 2:15 on my clock. Do you have a summary statement that you would like to share?
Well, yeah, again, a big thank you for having me. A lot of hard work ahead of us. I think we've got some great ideas that have already come forward, and yeah, look forward to your input on those. Sarah and Eileen know how to get a hold of me. They've got my email and cell number. I'm happy to hear from anybody anytime. It's one of the things I love about this work, and so please reach out if you've got ideas you'd like us to consider, and of course, we'd love to have you come to the Capitol and present those ideas in person as a testifier. So look forward to seeing everybody at the Capitol.
Thank you. And if anybody's interested in being involved in that, would you put your name and contact information in the chat? That will help us capture, if you will, more citizen input into this. So please put your name in the chat if you're interested. So thank you, Senator Hansen. And I have not been walking by your house because it's been too cold. So I probably will start walking by again. I walk by Senator Hansen's house when I walk to church on Sunday. So it'll get spring again, and then I can walk again. So I'll see you soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks so much.
Okay. You bet.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Good seeing you.
Thanks.
Have a good holiday.
Yeah, same to everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everyone have a good holiday.
Okay, so we have a couple minutes left.
We do?
So I thought I might just go back and just flip through these slides very quickly. So this is the one on advocacy, which is what we were just talking about, and certainly would love to have as many of you as are interested, or your friends and neighbors, to work with these programs. We've heard a lot about these programs for anybody who on the social determinants of health, for anybody who has not reviewed their Medicare Part D. Today at midnight is kind of the last opportunity to do that. So if you need help or support, feel free to give us a call. I'm not sure. I might have to give you my cell phone number if you do in fact need help with that this afternoon yet. This is just a list of some of the educational and training programs that we have been involved with over the years, and see ourselves continuing to provide those services in the future. Lots of community engagement work. We have been invited again to participate in this Charles Schwab Volunteer Week at the end of April, early May. So again, if anybody is interested in being involved in any of these kinds of projects, please let us know. We'd love to have you join us. We just got back from the printer a week or so ago, the Senior Resource Guidebook. So we will be distributing that through local libraries. Copies are also available at some of the senior affairs. And if you would like copies, please let us know and we can make those available. The guidebook is also available in a searchable database at the Housing and Home Care Locator on the blue button on the upper right-hand corner of our homepage at our website. These are just some stats, if you will, about kind of some of the work that we have done the past year. And so that I just thought I'd give you a brief overview of what's involved. And when I say community engagement, you can see that we have 85 volunteers in the holiday baskets. We have 114 dentists who participate, take discounted fees. We have 26 optometrists who also take discounted fees. We have 102 audiologists. We also have, I think, 10 or 12 now mental health therapists, maybe a couple more, that are taking discounted fees for our mental health counseling program. So you can see that the community involvement is really very high. We have about 65 telephone buddies, need to grow that project to about 120 more over the next year. So we'll be doing some active recruiting in that area as well. And then in terms of client outcomes, we do a number of different surveys and follow up with community. So about 99% of the people who have responded to our surveys, we send out several hundred of those a year, have indicated that they're satisfied with the services. 98% have indicated that they received the services that they requested from us, and 99% have reported that the services they received will either maintain or improve their independence. And so we feel like, at least with the programs that we are currently offering, that we are in fact reaching the mark. And so we'll continue probably offering most of those services as long as funding is available and we can generate that support. Are there any comments or questions? Okay, so the last thing I'd like to invite all of you to consider doing, I'm on a kick, have been for the last couple of years, about doing acts of kindness. And so I haven't got the link working yet, but I will send it to you. So I want to encourage everyone to do random acts of kindness between now and January 15th. This is kind of the season for doing that. And hopefully if you get into the habit, you will continue throughout the rest of the year. But if you engage in 15 acts of kindness and you record it on the link that we will provide to everybody who signed up for this meeting today, we'll send you a $50 gift card to King Soopers. So we encourage you to join the Holiday Joy Squad. If you decide you're just going to do it and you're not going to record it, that's okay as well. I just finished a presentation on our Aging in Place series on loneliness and the difference of loneliness and being alone. And one of the really big things that they stressed as an antidote to being lonely is to be kind to people. Smile and have a great attitude. So I would invite everybody to do that, just because this is the season, and then hopefully you will continue to do that throughout the year.